Hello, Tom Kenney here again with another Kenney Family Films Director's Notebook video. I made a video like this after our first 10 films. That was a lot. I made another one after our heist and reheist film in 2022 because there was just so much to say about that one film. Now I thought it was time to do the next one, following our last 3 films, The Case at the Cabin, The Smoky Mountain Paradox, and Dual Legends of Gold. These have been fun to make for a lot of reasons, but probably the biggest reason is watching the grandkids grow up. When trying to come up with an idea for our 2023 film, I was just jotting down some of the things that I remembered, and one of those was that Eric said that he wanted to die in a movie. So we were planning to go to Rocky Mountain National Park, and Melanie had rented a cabin in the woods in Colorado, and that led to the idea of letting Eric die in the movie, and then have everybody else be murder suspects. Not really an original or unique idea, but a good one. Spoiler alert here. I decided that it would be just sort of a 1 in a million accident and have it look like a murder and everyone be suspects. So I needed numerous motives, alibis, and causes of death. Then to get the kids involved, I would have them figure out that it was just an accident. As I played with names and character traits to fit the motives and alibis, I also decided to add as many Sherlock Holmes references as I could come up with. Also, Melanie and I had just retired in February of 2023, and I grew a beard just for the fun of it. And I knew that it would make me look about 10 years older because it would come in really gray, and I knew Melanie would hate it. But I did that, and I kept it through the movie and wrote it into the script. Lastly, I had just bought a Bigfoot costume, just for the fun of it. And I thought we could squeeze it in the background somewhere and not even mention it. Just kind of put it in there and see who noticed. As it turned out, I expanded that into a much bigger part of the story. The opening shot is of Long's Peak from Bear Lake in Rocky Mountain National Park. There is a lot packed into these first few scenes. The building is in downtown Iowa City, doubling for Mitziv's apartment. The actual interior shots were in Eric and Randy's condo. Mitziv shows his paranoia by putting tinfoil in his hat. Notice the knives, blades up, in the dish drainer.
Irene Adler, the woman.
Irene Adler was known to Sherlock Holmes as the woman because she once outsmarted him.
What about you?
Yep, just doing the math as usual.
Randy gets in her do the math line. Mitziv straightens things out on the counter just to show his OCD.
Yeah, well, I hope you're excited.
Randy is actually seated just a few feet away with her back to Eric. I reversed her image in the editing. It is better movie making to have conversing couples face each other, even in a phone conversation like this. Irene mentions us, but doesn't explain further. Mitziv calls GB the old man, subtly hinting that GB is his father.
Have you seen these Bigfoot stories that are going around about the cabin that we're staying in?
Then Mitziv confirms his paranoia further by saying that he really is concerned about Bigfoot.
Sure? I mean, it's deep in the mountains. Could be the heart of Bigfoot country. Oh, I was looking into them. Some of them look kind of legit.
I'll see you there.
He says to show that he might actually be Russian, and finishes eating the apple, which has become an Eric thing to do in a movie. Next, it's back to Bear Lake and Hallett Peak, just because I like the long hike to the top of that mountain that we did about 10 years ago. Here, Phil wears a Navy SEAL shirt to establish his character as having a highly trained military background. We establish Amy's name is Stretch, and that she teaches self-defense, and that they have 3 kids. That they are going to a reunion of college friends, and Mitzi will be there, finally naming Eric's character. I believe we did this in one take while there was a gap in the crowds of people walking around the lake. Phil, Cap, is sure that he is a Russian spy.
Dude's a Russian spy.
And Stretch doesn't want to admit it,
not a Russian spy.
but she is unsure.
Probably.
The next scene is at the Alpine Visitor Center on Trail Ridge Road at almost 12,000 feet. Here we establish the family of Professor and Ron, although his name is not given yet.
Okay, I need to get there a bit early. They asked me to treat the place for rodents.
Okay.
We establish that Mitziv
everybody
owes
gonna be
Ron
there?
money and he
should
wants
be.
to collect it.
Good. That Mitziv owes me some money, and I'm hoping GB can help me get it from him.
Sounds good. What does GB stand for anyway?
And here we see that
knows?
the GB character is also a bit of a mystery.
GB stands for graybeard.
But their young son seems to know what's going on, foreshadowing his intelligence. Now at the cabin, we confirm that Ron seems to be an expert exterminator, and he smartly keeps the poison up in a high cupboard to keep it away from the little kids.
All right. you
Then
two outta here.
Mitziv
It's time
shoos
for
them
your
out of the
big dinner.
kitchen and hides his secret food additive up there in the same high cupboard, not realizing that the poison is up there and that they're in identical containers. Note the chair rocking on its own in this exterior shot of the cabin. It's a little spooky. I love this shot with the camera on the floor looking up at the group gathered in close. Lots of laughing and outtakes here.
looks
It's also
like he
the
was
first time that we
poisoned.
see GB.
He has a gash
Then
on
the
his
shot of
head.
Eric on the floor.
Excuse me, but we are all missing the giant knife that's sticking out of his back.
And if you didn't catch it already, the name Mitziv is victim, spelled backwards.
Someone wanted to be thorough.
That someone has to be here right now. We got the shot of Matt covering the body with a blanket a day later after realizing that it would have looked bad if we had just left him there. Then the shot of Luke's character studying the crime scene with his hand on his chin, thinking. He voices his opinion,
I think it was an accident.
but nobody's listening. As the group enters the other room, we see that GB uses a cane. I wish I would have made this a little more obvious. I think
Kids are
it
in the
gets
other room.
easily unnoticed
Authorities are on
and
the
forgotten.
way. But it's going to be a while. You know, we're really out in the sticks. And we're all
Note the
gonna sit right
foreboding
here
music here
until
in the
we figure
background.
this out.
Wait, you think that one of us did this?
Well, it sure wasn't Bigfoot.
Phil ad-libs the Charlie Foxtrot line. I didn't figure out until later what that meant, but I left it in anyway.
Well, we got a real Charlie Foxtrot situation going on here. Looks like the game is afoot.
Cap also says the game is afoot, a Sherlock
Yes,
Holmes
Cap.
reference.
So we'll
I'll
start
let the
with
scene
you.
play out a little here
Well, Irene's
as they
the
figure
chef.
out
She's the
everyone
one that's an
seems to
expert
have
kitchen
some
cook.
expertise with the weapons,
Okay,
have
it
motives,
wasn't just
and
the
also
knife.
alibis.
What about the poison? And the knock on the head? Roach Wrangler Ron over here's got access to enough poison in his business to kill everything from crabgrass to coyotes. And Professor's a chemist.
Hey, Stretch teaches self-defense classes, and she shows people how to hit each other over their head with whatever's around.
Hey, you remember?
I did. Wait, no, this doesn't mean it was me.
Well, GB's the one that carries a blunt object with him everywhere he goes.
Okay. Blunt object for me and also Stretch. And poison for Roach Wrangler Ron and also the Professor. And finally, knives for Cap and Irene. This is beginning to have a Murder on the Orient Express vibe to it. Okay,
I
then,
mentioned
let's
Murder
move
on the Orient
to
Express,
motives.
a famous Agatha Christie
Cap,
novel.
he was not a spy.
I'm pretty sure he was. Look, he always went by the one Russian name, Mitziv. He always had a ton of money, and I don't ever know what job he ever held. He always had the whole tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist thing because he has the OCD. And my espionage training says those are the exact type of guys the Russians would recruit because you can brainwash them. And for the record, I didn't have anything to do with this today.
Okay, Cap, Russian spy. And Stretch, spy.
Well, you have to admit he was kind of a strange guy. He checks all the spy boxes. But I had nothing to do with this.
Stretch, spy.
Professor, didn't you tell me about an email that he wrote at the university or something? your career back maybe 5 years.
Yeah, that's true. It was intended to be a joke, and Mitsev apologized for it, but the damage was done. But that doesn't mean I had anything to do with today.
Hey, I had nothing to do with this either, but he did owe me quite a bit of money from golfing bets. I won fair and square, and he always cheated. Nobody could find a ball more often in the woods than this guy.
It really is an
Speaking of
inside
money,
joke with us that Eric
JB,
always
you've been
seems to be
working
able to
for
find
Mitzi
his
for
errant
years,
golf
and he
shots
always said
when
he
we are
never
sure
gave you
that they're
anything.
lost. I thought it would be funny
don't have
if when Irene
any
admits to the secret affair
In
that the
fact,
guys are clueless
I just
and the
have an
girls
alibi.
already knew.
Mitsev and I were having a secret affair.
What? Really?
I didn't know that.
Sleeping with the enemy.
Oh,
Phil ad-libs the sleeping with the enemy line. Professor asked what the guys talk about when they're golfing. You hear the guys muttering answers as we cut to Luke's character drawing a picture to the other kids, explaining to them what's happened.
No, usually watching the ball fly 2 fairways over.
Okay. Alibis for anybody else?
Next, as
Well,
they
I can
discuss
tell you one thing.
alibis, Phil hands Dash
Everybody
off to
knows.
Amy. He was so little.
That if you want to kill somebody quietly, you're not going to run up behind them and stab them in the back. Not very efficient. You got to come around behind them and slit their throat. And then, on top of that, the knife was in his back upside down. And I wasn't even in here. I was outside cutting wood for the fire we were supposed to have later.
Okay. Military training. And plenty of wood. There is a lot of it outside.
You want alibis? I have 3. Ro, Co, and Dash. Besides, Prof saw us walking in the woods.
that's true. I did. And I was out there picking berries.
While I was in the clearing practicing my chipping, I sent a video of my best shots back to Cap.
That's true. He did. GB?
Then the reveal that GB
I
is
could never have
Mitz's
done
father.
this because I am his father. All of his money is actually mine. I pay all of his debts. And he's definitely not a Russian spy.
So if his name was Mitsev, what does GB stand for?
It stands for Graybeard.
And we establish Luke
you know
as
that?
Sherlock,
Sherlock told us.
an obvious
And I also
Sherlock
knew
Holmes
this
reference.
was an accident.
Followed quickly by, you may see, which you do not observe,
also.
and of course,
When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth.
a famous Sherlock Holmes reference. Luke couldn't remember all of that at once, so Matt said the lines off camera, and Luke just repeated them, and I edited Matt out. Charlotte just would not speak when you pointed the camera at her, but this pointing, as if to say, give the drawing to GB, worked fine.
Okay, check this out. According to Sherlock, it looks like it started with 2 identical containers, one having poison in it, probably arsenic, and the other one having no label, because that was his secret ingredient, and he put that into his food and poisoned himself. That would account for the foaming at the mouth.
Yeah, that would do it.
All right. And then secondly, he probably started to hallucinate. Arsenic, I guess, will do that. And then he probably saw something that scared him.
Probably a Sasquatch. He was pretty concerned about Bigfoot out in these woods.
Certainly makes sense because Sherlock put that right here. Then it looks like he probably.
funny part here
dropped stuff
is
on
that
the
I
floor
wrote all
after being
this,
scared,
Yet,
slipped
when I
on
get
it
in front of the
when you see
camera,
stuff on the floor,
it's just so
and then
hard to
stumbled
get it done
backwards
right.
into a knife that was in the dish drainer.
That was one of his idiosyncrasies. He would wash every utensil right after he used it, and he always put them in the dish drainer to dry, handle down. Then I
Ron
assume
says
as he
elementary,
fell, he hit
another
his head on
Sherlock
the
Holmes
counter.
line.
Elementary.
And we go to the flashback scene of the accident. A great job here by Eric, and a fun use of the Bigfoot costume.
were so sure that it was murder.
There's nothing more deceptive than an obvious fact.
Amy and Andrea
But
end the
how do you
scene
think
with
Sherlock
2
figured
more
this out?
Holmes references.
The kid has a brain. The rest of him, mere appendix.
In the last scene, Melanie makes her appearance as Detective Lestrade, the reoccurring Scotland Yard detective in the Sherlock Holmes stories.
I'm Detective Lestrade. It looks
Notice
like this was
GB
just a
seems to have
strange
made it
accident,
outside
so I
without his
don't need
cane,
to take anyone
but
to
I'm
the
sure no
station.
one will notice that with
But
the
don't
Bigfoot
leave for a
crossing in
couple
the
days
background.
until we close our case.
I really like ending the movie
I'm
this
sure
way.
nothing this weird will ever happen again.
I thought this film turned out pretty well. It's pretty short, but we squeezed in a lot of plot points and a lot about each character. I was hoping that the audience would not be able to figure out that it was an accident that killed Mitziv, but also that it wasn't so far-fetched that it would be completely impossible. Other notes: Daschle was only about 3 months old when we filmed this, the youngest actor that we've ever had. And Amy also had one of my favorite all-time outtakes. She continued on with her lines while Andrea was sitting next to her just laughing like crazy. I tried to figure out a way to edit Andrea out and just leave Amy in, but as you crop in closer, the picture gets grainier, and it just never really looked right.
You want alibis? I got 20. But who cares? No big deal. I don't want any more kids. Row, colon, dash. Besides, we were out walking in the woods. Professor saw us.
You gotta start over.
Yeah, that was...
Andrea's on camera just busted.
I keep a file of things, quotes, ideas, etc., that I might want to put in a movie someday. Sometime, probably around the end of 2023, someone threw out the idea of the kids playing their parents and possibly have a time travel story. That's where the Smoky Mountain Paradox got its start. In February 2024, I actually started with the idea of a paranormal ghost story and was thinking of using an iMovie special effect that blends 2 images together. I shifted pretty quickly to thinking that we would be in a house that we thought was haunted, but that we were actually seeing ourselves in the past. I've always liked time travel ideas and had already put some time travel talk into Heist and Reheist. Also, checking my notes, I wanted to throw in some new words that I had just heard in the last year, like prestidigitation and Kafkaesque and catastrophizing. Then I watched a time travel movie called Displacement. Wasn't a great movie, but it's centered around closed time-like curves. That sent me down a deep YouTube rabbit hole into time travel, related paradoxes, wormholes, and black holes, and the like. I came up with this story that seemed believable enough, with a lot of scientific jargon and some scientific name-dropping to back it up.
Character names are always hard to settle on. Eric and I played Pops, a name recycled from other movies. Dash and Phil played Jack, that's from Blackjack, another recycled name. Rowan and Amy play Rusty. In Irish tradition, Rowan means red-haired or rusty. Cora and Randy play Candy, a combination of their 2 names. Charlotte and Andrea play Charlie, another recycled name.
from before.
Luke and Matt play Big
This
Cheese.
place hasn't changed a
Luke
bit.
had just acted in the summer camp play as Big Cheese. And then Melanie plays young and older mom. And that comes from her mother's name in the Bluey cartoon.
Everybody look at them.
While we were there,
3,
someone
2,
suggested
1.
that we need a shot to better establish who was who. So I came up with this after we had taken a random photo of all the kids sitting on the couch. The kids did really well with speaking lines in the opening scene.
I don't know, Candy.
It's a gross name.
It is kind of a strange name, isn't it, Rusty?
Yes, it is. But we love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
And
Yeah,
Luke's
thanks,
line
Big
is
Cheese.
stolen from his summer camp play.
And could hardly wait to squirt Eric.
Yes.
Next, we had to put in a
Charlie.
genius line for Eric,
I am a genius. Your name is Charlie, right?
and could still
Wait,
not
your
get
name's
Charlotte
Charlie, or
to
I'm not
speak
a
on
genius?
camera. I then threw in shots of us playing in the yard and throwing water balloons, just to show that they were having fun on their vacation, because we really were. Then, mysterious music and a strange scene with young Pops.
Man, that was weird. Don't know how I'm gonna explain that.
Followed by fun music and more vacation activities. Then we alternate between vacation fun and strange happenings for all the kids.
Throughout the film, mysterious music and iMovie effects like lens flares, sound effects, and cross blur and ripple transitions really make this story work.
That's I don't think so.
Hey guys, check this out. This white here means we're on the Appalachian Trail.
Finally, Pops wonders why it seems so weird there, and eats his apple and morphs into old Pops.
You know, besides the name, there seems to be something strange about this place.
Next up was a great scene that turned out just the way I wanted it to. It's a long single take, about 70 seconds. Really long for us. And we had the camera moving through the scene. We had people moving through the scene. Everybody had lines. I wanted it to look like that you were in the room with the group. Andrea's line comes directly from a project and a presentation that she worked on at
Hey
Iowa
Charlie, I
State.
thought we were going to leave work at home this trip.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to help one of my grad students who's working on manufacture of tracer particles for X-ray flow visualization in a fluidized bed.
Pops! See any Sasquatches out there?
Not yet, Jack, but I'm convinced there's something really, really strange about this house.
You can't really believe in that stuff, can you?
Oh, Mom, you know that I do. And I can't believe that you're the only one who does not believe in this stuff. Rusty, back me up on this.
Well, we're all highly trained scientists now, but I all know we thought there were some pretty strange things that happened in this place when we were kids. Candy especially.
I always thought that was Pops doing a bit of prestidigitation.
I always felt it was real Kafka-esque.
I tell you what, Big Cheese, I don't remember any of it.
No, I remember it. Do you have amnesia?
I don't remember what that means.
Phil jokes that he can't remember what the word amnesia means. This comes from a true story. In a 9th grade football game, Phil suffered a concussion. And the coaches or trainers or somebody on the sidelines asked him if he had amnesia, and he answered, "I don't remember what that means." Next, the strange things happen to the adults, where they think they see themselves as kids. Phil usually won't read a script until we get to the location. And when he read this one, he said there's no way we would get all that done with the adults in every shot and with the kids around, and that we needed a lot more planning. So he and I stayed up until 4 o'clock in the morning planning out the shots for the rest of the movie. We broke down each individual shot and who had to be in it, and grouping them together so that each person could come in, get their shots done, and then leave. And I acknowledged its help in the credits. The shot here by the pool table established where everyone was in the room.
Okay, I get it now.
But the majority of the shots here had only the people that were on camera in the room
Same spot I
until
remember
the
from when
end.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was really happy with how it turned out.
In fact, I think I saw myself as a little kid.
Me 4, and I know I saw myself as a little kid.
There must be some sort of scientific explanation.
Do you remember the story I told you about what happened to me here 30 years ago?
Oh, yeah, you said something about fighting a ghost?
The fight scene took a long time, as each of us were shot separately.
I'll let this scene play out
What did I
here.
say you look like?
I liked all the scientific jargon. Almost everything is actual science. And Phil added a few of the 7 stages of the paradox psychosis from the show The Umbrella Academy. And I'll probably point out some of our recycled lines from other movies.
So I've been reviewing Einstein's math.
Randy has to do the math line.
I think we might be talking about CTCs.
Closed time-like curves.
What?
Yeah, what?
Physicist Germain Tobar in 2020 postulated the existence of closed time-like curves, CTCs.
The closed time-like curves are the mathematical result of physics equations that create a path through space-time that allows for time travel. They are trajectories in space-time that effectively allow for travel backwards in time. When you exit the timeline, you travel backwards in time and enter again in the past.
Einstein proposed that the speed of light is a constant to all observers, no matter how fast or which direction they are moving. Speed is simply distance covered per unit of time. So if the speed of light is constant, it is time and space that have to bend to accommodate the rule.
I think I get it. You can get up and walk around a room in 3 dimensions, height, width, and length, that is looping through space. But Einstein's math suggests that it is theoretically possible to travel through time in a similar way and return to where you are now.
Okay, but what about the grandfather paradox? If you go back in time and kill your grandfather, then you were never born. Therefore, you can't go back to kill him. So, he must have lived, in which case, you must have been born. So I thought that time travel to the past wasn't possible.
If you travel to the past becomes your future, and your former present becomes the past, which can't now be changed by your new future.
Huh?
Stephen Hawking proposed the chronology protection mechanism. This prevents causality violations in space-time. In other words, you wouldn't just be able to kill your grandfather and create the paradox. Igor Novikov called it the self-consistency principle. Essentially, if an event exists that would cause the paradox or change the past whatsoever, then the probability of the event is 0. Right? It would thus be impossible to create time paradoxes.
Okay, whatever, but I still don't know what causes this.
Well, per Einstein, gravity is the warping of space-time by energy and matter. A powerful electromagnetic field or gravitational field could conceivably bend time back on itself.
That closed time-like curve.
A powerful gravitational field is what we find in black holes. You are drawn into the black hole towards the singularity, the center of the black hole.
I know I'm catastrophizing here, but isn't that really, really bad?
Yes. Normally, once you cross the event horizon, there's no way out. But if the black hole is spinning fast enough, there may be no event horizon. You could swing around the middle and slingshot out, looping back onto your own timeline before you even went in.
Yes! A black hole with a naked singularity.
So it's actually possible to not get sucked into the Kugelblitz.
In essence, a wormhole.
Spinning fast enough?
You know, the Smoky Mountains are a great place for gravity distortion because some of the oldest rock on Earth is here. Some as old as 480 million years, which is far older than any dinosaur. Granite is one of the most dense rocks on Earth. Maybe there's lots of potential elastic energy stored up here. Like a compressed spring that lets out small bursts of energies in concentrated spots. Like tiny earthquake P waves or S waves that get released from deep underground.
You mean like possibly enough to create 1.21 gigawatts of power to create a wormhole?
Precisely.
I want to revisit the grandfather paradox. So you all saw your younger selves?
But we couldn't really interact with ourselves. I think this proves that you can't exist with yourself in the same place in the space-time continuum.
So in our new theory, here, the same person from two different times effectively exists in slightly different dimensions.
Proving no grandfather paradox. And Einstein, Hawking, and Novikov to all be correct.
So we really are breaking the space-time continuum.
And visiting the fourth dimension.
Nobels for everyone!
And Andrea says, we have to hop a flight to Sweden. I added an I told you line.
I told you there was something weird about this place.
I wonder if these wormholes have been used by anyone or anything else.
This movie really isn't over with the credits. There is a post-credit scene and 3 short bonus features. When I bought the Bigfoot costume, and Matt already had the full-body Sully costume from Monsters, Inc., we thought that we had to throw them in a scene together. Sully goes in a door, like in the Monsters, Inc. movie, and comes out somewhere else, meeting Bigfoot there as if they had done this many times before. Lastly, we elaborated on the 7 stages of the paradox psychosis. Then I'd asked everyone to find photos of themselves when they were kids. I wanted to see how much each of the grandkids looks like their parents or maybe even grandparents. I also added a little history of Melanie and myself. The outtakes here include some rehearsing for the long take. Generally, we don't rehearse anything, but I hope that this shows just how much fun we have when we're making these films.
Are you supposed to be wearing that shirt?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I am, yes.
Okay.
We're all highly educated.
We're all highly educated scientists now. And
But
yada
I do think we all remember some weird stuff.
Right,
I
Kenney?
know.
A little bit of prestidigitation behind the scenes. What?
Do try to make sure I'm pointing the camera at you before you give your line.
How do you
She can't look at the camera.
Just
Just watch.
Stage sense.
Yeah.
Stage sense. No, I missed you.
Okay, so do I gotta go wider?
No, Andrea distracted me.
Shut it.
The giggles!
3, 2.
In 2024, Luke had really gotten into Pokemon. I would always mispronounce their names, just for the fun of it. He mentioned that we should use Pokemon names in our next film. So I made a note of that in my future movie notes file. And by Christmas of 2024, we had decided to go to the Black Hills for our 2025 summer vacation. I decided to do a sequel to Fallen Treasure, mostly because I had trouble coming up with new ideas. I started to do a little research on the Black Hills and Native American history there, and I was looking for some kind of lost gold or lost treasure story. I stumbled on the Thoin Stone story, and the fact that the actual Thoin Stone is on display in a museum in Deadwood sold me on the idea of using that. I also had the Shot with Two Arrows gold story in my head and decided that QB and the crew would be after the Thoin Stone gold and that Carpo and Trout would be after the Two Arrows gold. Viewers would assume that Carpo and Trout were wrong, but then have it be confirmed that their story is actually legitimate. I still had to have the kids win out in the end, inspired a little bit by the Goonies. So I mingled the two stories to make them both about the same lost gold. I thought it was a pretty good meld of fact and fiction. I had a few titles in mind, but Dual Legends of Gold seemed to fit the story the best. The opening shot has no background music. I did the same in Fallen Treasure. The movie opens with me buying a map at Waldrop. You don't know exactly what it is at the time, but it makes sense later. And yes, I did buy a cheap map case just to use as a prop for this movie.
I wanted to open this movie with recognizable shots of the Black Hills, most notably the one of coming out of the tunnel and you see Mount Rushmore. The great shots of the bison were just pure luck, so I had to throw those in too.
I've always wanted to shoot a scene on a moving train. We had train tickets, but I had no idea how crowded it would be or what we'd be able to do. I would have been happy with just a few shots standing in the station. We ended up having a whole car to ourselves and we could do whatever we wanted. The conductor, Daryl, even stopped to entertain the kids and made the final cut. I'm so lucky.
So, what do you call the train full of gum? A choo-choo train.
I asked for cheesy disguises, and Phil and Amy delivered. They also improvised a turning around of the map, like in Fallen Treasure. We also used the same wrong way joke twice here and again later.
No blue today?
Switching it up.
We made a joke about Matt not wearing blue since he wore the same blue clothes every day in Fallen Treasure.
This is it, Keys.
We found the Thoin Stone prominently displayed in the Adams Museum in Deadwood.
Came to these hills in 1833. 7 of us: De La Comte, Ezra Kind, G.W. Wood, T. Brown, R. Kent, William King, Indian Crow. All dead but me, Ezra Kind. Killed by Indians beyond the high hill. Got our gold, June 1834.
We also got great shots on Main Street in front of the bar where Wild Bill Hickok was shot.
Gold was discovered
We used a similar shot in the Great Spring Break Challenge with the camera walking backward in front of the two people talking.
For Ezra Kine's lost gold?
Partly. And I also think that the high hill he mentions is not Lookout Mountain or Crow Mountain near Spearfish where the stone was found, but instead, I think it is Black Elk Peak, the highest point in the Black Hills.
I hope the scene of just sitting and talking didn't slow things down too much, but I thought that the conversation gives needed details to the story. Besides, we had to mention Eric wearing my ill-fitting hat and show his tinfoil in it. Also, Eric takes a bite of an apple. In our next scene, we have Carpo and Trout searching the woods. The stone bridge remnants are actually just a couple hundred yards from our house in Iowa City. We threw in a super quick Bigfoot sighting, but then just brushed it off.
Do you see something over there? No? Oh, yeah, I didn't either.
The Bigfoot here is in Iowa City, about a mile from our house. Some of the abandoned buildings were shot in random places around the western United States on other vacations. But the few buildings in the ghost town of Spokane were great. I didn't intend to go inside any of them, but we did and got great shots. Film says, check this out, and Amy answers, what is it? Just like they did in Fallen Treasure.
Check this out.
What is it? Ooh. I don't know if that is a Lakota or a cavalry.
This skull is a Halloween prop that we've had around the house for a long time.
I think you might be right this time.
I might be onto something. Back in the gold rush days, they said there was
Adding
Lakota
some
warrior
historical names and dates adds to the possible realism of their gold search.
The legend says that the gold disappeared sometime between when Crazy Horse surrendered in 1877 and then the 7th Cavalry rounded up the remaining tribal members in 1890 and then massacred them at Wounded Knee.
The Mount Rushmore scene is intended to look like a scene from Fallen Treasure that we filmed in the Banff Springs Fairmont Hotel. Carpo doesn't understand what QB is asking. Trout explains, and Carpo inadvertently gives away their search plans.
What farcical mythos are you currently delving into?
What crazy story are we looking into?
2 Arrows gold isn't a crazy story.
That's actually legit.
Then
might
Sergeant
be onto
solidifies that Carpo and Trout are actually onto a legitimate lost gold
see you
legend. Carpo makes another wrong way exit. A small crowd made this
They
scene
hung around
easy to
us so
get,
long that
and the monument placed in the
finally
center
rubbing
of the
off on
shot.
I guess if you shoot enough arrows, eventually one of them will hit the target.
So what is the 2 Arrows gold anyway?
The next scene is more exposition about the
Lakota
shot with 2
warrior
arrows
who
legend.
went by the name of Shot with 2 Arrows. He just
Fun fact here, I used to work with a guy who had been in the Army, and one of the soldiers that he served with was a Native American whose actual name was Shot with 2 Arrows.
So we're looking for gold that mysteriously disappeared in the 1830s. And Carpo and Trout are looking for gold that appeared in the 1870s?
Hey, wait a minute. If we do the math here,
Randy gets in her obligatory do the math line.
father stole gold from some miners in the 1830s and then left it to his son 40 years later.
He suggests that
when
both
he
groups
died in
might
the
actually be
1870s.
looking for the same lost gold.
Do you think we're looking for the same lost gold as Carpo and Trout?
Yes!
QB and Sergeant realize
Okay,
together that this is
so
right, similar
what
to
did
realizing
Shot
that
with
downed
Arrows
satellite and Fallen
mean by
Treasure may contain the
returning
jewels.
It's Mother Earth.
Back into a mine or a cave?
They decide the gold might be near a lake or
panned it out.
a stream near
I like
Black Hawk
that.
Peak.
So we're looking for a body of water with a creek running in or out of it near the high hill.
We jump to Carpo and Trout, coming to the same conclusion. I like Carpo asking Trout
We're getting close.
if her name was
It's gotta be right
Trout
around
with 2
the corner
arrows,
here somewhere.
what would she do?
If your name was Trout with 2 arrows, where would you hide gold?
So maybe he knew the end was near for all the tribes and finally made good on his promise to return the gold to Mother Earth.
What do you mean? Just like throw it on the ground
Amy's
or
Great
chuck it in the
Scott
lake or
line was
something?
ad-libbed.
Great Scott!
I couldn't really figure out a way to fit it into the scene, so I had Phil come back the next day and film his 1-second reaction,
Where's
and
the
then
nearest
edited
lake?
that
In the
in,
stream.
and we got to leave the ad-lib in. Next up were the scenes that make this film really watchable. The kids were just outstanding. Silently creeping up on sleeping Grandpa. Here they follow directions perfectly as they exit the house by Grandma. Dash gets a line here that looks very in character.
No.
As a little kid who knows they're sneaking around, yet answers Grandma's question honestly. The opening of the map
Let me see
scene
the map.
went so well too. They all sat around the table patiently, took directions, and hit their lines. Cora helped out Charlotte a little bit, telling her what to do, but it all looked so natural. Dash even sat still and played the scene like a pro, even ad-libbing a line saying,
This way's north. That means the lake is this way. Let's go. Adventure awaits.
The final scene was always to be filmed at Sylvan Lake. I watched a lot of YouTube videos of people hiking the mile around the lake. A few of these shots were made up on the spot, but for most of it, I had a really good idea of how I wanted to film it and where each shot would be. Notice here that Skull Rock is actually in Joshua Tree National Park in California.
It looks like
Melanie and I had
Grandpa.
recently been there, and I just thought it looked so cool, I had to write it into the script. By one end of the Boulder Cave, next to the lake, and by the stones in the water along the cliff, there was a constant stream of people. The spot here was like Grand Central Station. I knew it would be crowded, but thought we could squeeze in our shots between groups of other tourists. This ended up being harder than I thought. I love the shot of Dash forgetting the gold bag and Luke making him go back for it.
Hey, you forget something?
It looks great because it seems so heavy for him to carry. I wanted to film just a couple seconds of Eric in the Bigfoot costume and just throw it into a post-credit scene. As Eric sat around in the shade, in costume, people kept stopping to look at him and then asked if they could take their picture with him. He became a regular tourist attraction. I think a lot of people thought that he was planted there by the park or by somebody. I even had someone come up to me, holding a camera, and saying, "Are you in line to get a photo?" I talked to a few people and told them that he's with us and we're just filming a scene from a movie. But most people had no idea. The final part of this scene was shot at a spot that I picked out from someone's YouTube video. It was a little small, but it was off the main trail a little
What are
bit
you guys doing here?
and had a nice place
We're
to
looking
spill
for
out
the
our
Ezra
gold on the
Kine
rocks.
Stone gold.
There's a lot
And we
to
think
say
it's the
here.
same gold you guys are looking for.
Don't
We've
look at
heard
the
of that,
mirrored
but
sunglasses.
it was years
I
before
think
the
in one
Two
of the
Arrows
unused
legend.
takes, you can
Well,
see
the
me
timeline
with the
fits the shot
camera
with two arrows
and one of
inherited
Andrea's
from his
lenses
father, who stole it
and Matt
from Ezra
holding up
Kine
a
40
script to
years
read
ago.
in the other lens.
It explains the mysterious origins of the Two Arrows gold, and we traced other clues to get us here to the foot of Blackout Peak.
Hey now, this one is ours.
Not so fast.
I think it belongs to us. We already have it. Show them.
I bought the bag of gold just to use as a prop in this movie. I buried it in the yard for a couple of months trying to age it.
There are a dozen more of those, too.
Look, this is shot with 2 arrows symbol.
After 2 years of trying to get Charlotte
And
to
EK.
talk when you point a camera
As
at
we're
her,
kind.
this year she was
How
great.
did you guys find these?
We have a map.
The map is one of my favorite props. I spent a lot of time drawing it, fraying the edges, burning in some small holes, and aging it with coffee.
Well, this sure would have been nice to have earlier.
Phil really liked the map and suggested
This is
that
a
it should
ghost
get
town
more
now.
screen
We
time.
went there and saw
It was his
the
idea
stone
to do the
bridge.
cutaways to each location as we discuss it.
Tower Rock must be Little Devil's Tower, and High Hill is Black Elk Peak.
Yeah, and we went past the Skull Rock, over the trail of stones in the water, through Boulder Cave.
Well, we all must have missed that hidden cave. Hey, where did you guys get this?
Our grandpa bought it at an
And what might
antique
be
store
my
in
favorite
Boulder.
line in the movie, I put it
Where
in
is
for
he
them
now?
to say together,
Where
and
are
they
all your
nailed it.
grown-ups?
Grown-ups? We don't need no stinking grown-ups.
This is from The Treasure of the Sierra Madre.
Can't tell
Luke
you.
did the joke from Home Alone.
'Cause you're a stranger.
He liked it a lot, so I wrote it into the
Tell us
script
your
for him.
names.
My name is Pika Cuckoo.
And the kids all like their fake Pokemon names.
My name is Pidgey Photo. My name is Charblender. My name is Boa Snot.
Those aren't Lakota names.
Cheyenne?
Arapaho?
Mandan?
Crow?
Pokemon names, right?
That's right.
So what are you guys going to do with the gold?
We're gonna give it back to the Lakota people.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's what we were gonna do with it too.
Yeah, us too.
The scene ends with Carpo getting a little redemption, being right this time, instead of being wrong,
Whatever.
like in Fallen Treasure.
Hey, look at it this way. At least you were right this time.
And the gold goes back to the Lakota people. Everybody wins.
I reckon so.
Later, Chief.
And Matt's I reckon so is a line that Clint Eastwood said in probably my favorite Clint Eastwood movie, The Outlaw Josie Wales. Matt had suggested a scene where he takes off his fedora and puts on another hat, changing into party mode. We put that idea into the credits. 2 final notes. We got Bigfoot into a post-credit scene. It's short and sweet. I intended to have Bigfoot follow all the kids coming out of the cave in one shot. But Charlotte does not like the Bigfoot costume, even knowing that Uncle Eric is wearing it. So we couldn't get the 2 shots in together. Finally, the outtakes are always one of the highlights of making each of these films. This one is no exception. In fact, Dashiell may have the best outtake ever. Making these movies continues to be a lot of fun. I think the grandkids are really starting to get it now and understand that they're actually acting for a movie and that they can watch it anytime again later. I'm looking forward to giving them bigger speaking roles and maybe even their own movie. I'm hoping that they start to try to out-ad-lib their parents. Stay tuned.
Hey, you get what you pay for, buddy.
Sweet.